plumbing guy. 6:30. Present, we have myself, we have Trustee Ogamian and Trustee Zekowitz. So we have our quorum. Absent is Trustee Lopez-White and Trustee Garrison. And then if we could please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so agenda item C, approval of agenda order. The board reserves the right to change the order in which agenda items are discussed and/or acted upon at this meeting. Subject to further action by the board, the agenda for this meeting is to be approved as presented. It's the end of the year, so please bear with me. Items may be added to this agenda for discussion or action only as permitted by the Brown Act. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda order?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, so I have a motion by Trustee Zekowitz,
I'll second.
a second by Trustee Ogamian. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we have 2 absent. Okay. On to D, public comments on non-agenda items. At this time, any person may address the board on any non-agenda item. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the board cannot consider issues or take action on requests during this comment period. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person per item, 20 minutes per topic. Do we have any public comments? Okay. Then if you could please step to the podium. Oh, okay. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Kate Bria. This week, there have been rumors about Carlos Jimenez not being in school. It's hard to imagine that he has done anything so serious that he is not able to come to work. He is a respected and valued member of our school community. His absence from school this week has been deeply felt. Members of our union are concerned about him, and we want to express our support and care. We hope he's receiving the consideration he deserves during this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Hi, I'm Anna Ramirez, teacher here at Cloverdale High School. I wanted to speak to you tonight. I want to take a moment to speak not about specifics, but about community. There's been a lot of talk around this year's senior prank, something that's been a tradition at our school for years. This one didn't seem different from pranks in the past, but the reaction this time feels more serious. Students have been called into the office to be interviewed, and a staff member hasn't been at work for over a week. While we don't know everything, it's clear this has created a lot of tension and concern across campus. The staff member, Carlos Jimenez, is a CHS graduate. All 3 of his kids graduated from CHS, including his daughter, who is set to graduate in just a few days. What should be a joyful, proud time for their family, I'm sure is now filled with stress and sadness. He's not just a colleague, he's part of the heart of the district. He coaches middle and high school sports and is a role model for Mexican-American boys. He's known for being kind, honest, dependable, and always showing up for students and staff. We're not saying there shouldn't be accountability, but it feels like what's happening now doesn't quite match the situation, especially when this tradition has gone on for years without clear guidelines. When things are handled this way, it causes worry, confusion, and a sense that something simple has been made too serious. I hope moving forward, you'll keep in mind the full picture, the people involved, the moment in time, and how all of this is affecting not just one person, but students, staff, and families who care deeply about this school district. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, so now moving on to discussion action. E1, consideration and possible approval of Resolution 225-20, authorizing use of bridge financing for the Jefferson Elementary School Early Education Project.
Yeah, so I'll turn it over to kind of the Van Pelt crew we have here, so we can explain that. Just one thing I want to remind you guys of, since we only have 3 here tonight in attendance, it does take all 3 of you voting for it in order for something to pass. So it's not just a majority of what's here, it's actually a majority of the entire board, whether they're here or not. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees. I'm Brian Cameron. I know most of you. Senior Project Manager with Van Pelt Construction Services, and I'm here with Aaron Brazier, Project Manager for VPCS, and we also have Jen Gibb and Dwayne. So I'm excited to present to you an update on the Jefferson TK project. I know Aaron and myself and the team have been working really hard on the funding aspects of this project, and we wanted to give you an update on where we're at and how we're moving forward. So here's a quick agenda. We're starting with the project status, funding update, our phased approach, and then the discussion of the resolution. So where are we? Currently, we have DSA approval on increment 1 and 2, which is the site and the building package for the buildings. We have all our current costs up to date to get the project done, spring of 2026, pending the incoming state funding. And we also have our state funding status. So as you can see up here, I'm not sure if I'm in the way. Okay. We have our, it's hard to see from here, our modernization funding of $1.4 million, which we've already received. And we're pending about $11.3 million of incoming state funds. So currently, this is a list of the incoming funding, or all the funding we've received or are potentially to receive. And we have about $15.5 million in overall state funds. We've nearly exhausted all of the district contribution, and we have encumbered most of the advanced design. The one thing that gets a little tricky and why we're here is we have to spend the TK final fund release before we can spend the bond reimbursement, which we already have in the bank. So that's why we're coming to you with a resolution for an interfund transfer. So right now, to get our summer project started, we need to issue POs to Wright for $2 million. Our inspector of record for $72,800. Our geotech and special inspections for $76,000 and some change. And then our moving services to clear out the portables we're demolishing. And then we have our CM fee, but we can waive that until we get most of the state reimbursements. So overall, the total amount we need to get the project started is $2,902,347. And then currently, the cash we have in the bank to spend, we have $806,540,000, plus the $1.4 million, which we want to transfer into our current fund. So where we're going, you want to take this?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in. Thank you. Might get a little risky and take it off for a second so I can get the whole screen going on. Cool. So like he had said, my name's Aaron Brazier, project manager with Van Pelt out here at Cloverdale Unified, helping out with the construction management. So you'll kind of see here real quick a breakdown on some expected estimated costs per phase of the project. So working with both contractors on both increments, we were able to kind of dial in on where we expect the cost to flow in at. So that's what you're going to see here. I'm going to go ahead and skip on to some future slides that'll have it in a little bit more detail, but it's kind of just a snapshot at it. Phase 1, summer 2025, we're looking at about 2.5. Phase 2, that's the fall, winter, looking at about 2.8. And then Phase 3, that's spring of 2026, estimated cost of $6 million. And we'll kind of chat about where we're getting some of those numbers from. So for the summer construction that we are slotting them in there as phase one to go from June to September of 2025. So pretty much where we're standing at right now. That's going to include the demolishing of the 8 existing portables out there right now where the construction site's going to be. So associated site demo as well. We're also going to be focusing on underground utilities, including storm drain and electrical. It's really important that if we're going to get started out there that we knock out all the drainage before the winter season comes. So that'll be a big focus on that first phase. And then preparing the bioswales in order of, for the site to drain properly. So again, kind of ties back into the storm drain tie-in along Venezia Way. And then the last part of that phase one is going to be the retaining walls ahead of building installation. Okay. And then that second phase for that fall construction, depending on how that funding rolls in on that second installment, that's going to be a completion of the staff parking lot there on kind of like the northeast side of campus. Sorry about that. That's definitely the girlfriend seeing where I'm at, for sure. Completion of the TK drop-off area, or fiance rather. Completion of bioswales, continuing with the sewer tie-in and lift stations and building pad certification. Right at around this time, we'll start to see a blend of jail construction coming in. They're going to be the contractor on that second increment, and that work in that third phase from winter, spring, rounding off the end of this year going into 2026 is going to be beginning the building of the foundations, then coming in and getting the building shell, starting to knock out the interiors of the building, concrete flat work, all the miscellaneous shade structures and pathways and striping and all the little fun stuff that kind of comes in at the end of the project. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Yeah, so landscaping as well. So that's where we're at on phase 3 of it. Hand it back to you.
Cool. So what we did is we worked really closely with Krista Looney on where we're at with the current funding, and we also worked very closely with Wright Contracting to see how much we're going to be spending over the summer to make sure we never kind of get into the negative with our cash flow. And we're being super conservative with our incoming TK money, that 5.9. We're showing October, but we're actually asking OPSC for expedited review. So we're anticipating getting that in October, but we really think that's going to come sooner. And then we have our soft cost as well, kind of just averaged out over the life of the project.
And then one thing thank you so much. I'm Jennifer Gibb. I'm working with the team from the finance side of it. One thing I just want to make sure the board is aware and why we're coming tonight to request the approval of the resolution is really what Brian's trying to articulate and the team's wanting to show you is that we can do that summer work between now and September with the current cash that we have, your cash on hand, the $800,000 plus, if the board so chooses to approve the resolution this evening for the $1.4 million that's sitting in your Fund 35. That's that modernization reimbursement that you previously had received. So that allows us to get this project up and going in anticipation, and really it will take us to the end of September committing to all that work. And really what the team is showing you with Wright and then your soft cost is that we can do all of that work with your cash on hand and not overcommit the district for phase 1 increment that we're working towards, and then anticipating having all the rest of the money come at the latest that it would come. But as Brian mentioned, we have requested an expedited approval. The superintendent has sent in a letter requesting that, and so we're working really diligently to get that on the state allocation board agenda this month, so that potentially you'll get that in August, if not sooner. So it really commits the district to nothing more than the work that we can do with the cash that we have on hand to do some of that work that we can't do when students are in session and staff are in session, take care of the opportunity when no one's on campus, as well as some of the work that we want to get achieved before any rains come. Very, very critical. So the requirement, though, of the resolution this evening is to be able to do this work. We have to phase it, and you do have to authorize the approval of the resolution. Just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, and one thing to add is if for some reason we have issues with the state funding, we can stop the work in September and still have a site that drains properly. So it's a good place to stop if we have to. Obviously, none of us want to do that. All right, discussion decision. So obviously I brought it up a couple of times, but we want to move that 1.414 million over to Fund 35 in order to use that money right away.
And then on the flip side of that, the funding that comes through tentatively latest October would go back into mod reimbursement fund, the 1.4.
Correct, yeah. We just have to track all our costs, and then we can journal it over pretty easily.
Yeah, and one clarification on why do we need to borrow the money ahead of time and why do you have to do this resolution? As part of your application process for the TKPK FDK grant program that you received, you also received a component for financial hardship, which meant at the time that you took forth the application, you said, we have no money, and you didn't have this $1.4 million. But since then, because you're good stewards of your funding and you're trying to maximize as much as you can, you put in an application and you were granted that funding and cash came in. And so now what you're saying, the state's like, well, you told us you didn't have any money. You can't spend money that you got after the fact without doing this resolution. So you're borrowing from yourself, but it's to protect yourself to say, at the time we submitted the application, we really didn't have any money. We had what was listed and we're truthful and honest, and now we're borrowing from ourselves in anticipation of the money coming. So it's protecting yourself from an audit standpoint. We've confirmed with the state controller and the state auditor with Office of Public School Construction that this won't hinder your application from an audit standpoint, and then this, therefore, the language that's presented to you in the resolution allows you to borrow from yourself. So you will need a portion if you go back a couple slides, Brian, back to your total project costs. You originally did anticipate using a portion of your money to do a part of this project. It's just this you're not allowed to spend it technically without adopting this resolution until you get line 3. Hopefully that clarifies.
Yeah, so this table shows you the order you have to spend it in. So we're just kind of supplementing the money ahead of time.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you guys have any questions?
It was a pretty good presentation. It makes sense to me. I mean,
Well, then do I have a motion to approve resolution, or the resolution? Yeah, 225-20.
All moved to approve Resolution 225-20, authorizing use of bridge financing for the Jefferson Elementary School Early Education Project.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, trustee, give me a, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can we use acronyms next time?
Any opposed? You could just say resolution 225-20, it'd be okay. Okay, and then absent, we have trustee Garrison and trustee Lopez White. Okay. Yes, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank
We're
you.
all very excited.
Yep, Aaron can call his fiance now.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Where are you at? Why are you?
Okay.
I just want to bring your guys' attention to when we have 2 meetings in June, back to back.
Oh gosh, we do, don't
What
we?
we'll do is the first meeting will be a kind of a regular meeting, and the second one will just be the 2 items to approve that we can't approve on the same meeting.
Okay.
So kind of our big meeting will be the first one, and our easier one should be the second.
Okay. Anything, gentlemen, you want to put on the agenda for future agenda items? Are we good?
Or you can make a motion.
Are you going to make a motion to,
adjourn.
trustee Zekowitz, are you making a motion to adjourn?
Okay, I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Trustee Ogamian
I'll
made a
second.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Trustee Zekowitz, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.